Welcome everybody to the next evolution in connected gas detection. My name is Sam Duva from MSA Safety, and I will be your guide to unpack the latest innovation in the MSA Connected Work platform, the new ALTAIR IO6 multi-gas detector. Across a variety of industries, confined space entry can be challenging and oftentimes dangerous. At MSA Safety, we are committed to developing the latest innovations to help keep workers safe. And when it comes to confined space, it's connected gas detection solutions. The ALTAIR IO6 is designed to be the ultimate confined space sampling tool, and it builds on our portfolio of connected solutions, which already includes the ALTAIR IO4 gas detection wearable device and our grid software. We have a panel of experts here with us today who have been involved beginning to end in the development of the ALTAIR IO6, and also who can share some first-hand customer stories with us to help connect the dots for how the ALTAIR IO6 can solve everyday problems you are seeing in the field. Let me introduce my panel. Joining us today are Anthony Bafile, ALTAIR IO6 and Connected Solutions Product Lead, Ann Osborne, our Connected Services and Solutions Manager, and Andy Spidell, Connected Services and Solutions Field Expert. So let's jump right in and do a level set for what is going on every day for our customers. So for the three of you, as product and industry experts, you all have experience with customers who have implemented connected gas detection devices and have been involved in the development of the ALTAIR IO6. Anthony, can you kick things off for us, as you've been on the front lines of developing the IO6 out in the field for the last 3 years with developing this product? Can you tell us, what are you hearing and what are you seeing?
Thanks, Sam. For the past 3 years, the product team and I have been visiting customers around the world, end users, distributors, industrial sites, first responders, contractors, just to name a few. The main question that I continued to be asked was, when will you have a connected, pumped multi-gas detector to go along with the ALTAIR IO4?
Absolutely. And as our customers start to transition to connected gas detection wearables, they want their entire fleet to be connected, and that includes pumped multi-gas detectors. And that means our challenge as a team is to develop the right hardware and software tools to empower workers to make informed decisions that are right for them in the moment so that they can return home safely to their families each and every day.
What my customers remind me of every day is, if you don't have that rugged piece of hardware that folks in the field will actually use, your safety gas detection program will suffer. Job number one is providing the correct reading to workers so that they can make the right decisions in the moment. But finding the right product can be a challenge because over the years, there's a lot to choose from, and customers, they just need something they can trust every day, no matter the environment. Because no matter the weather or the challenge, the safety managers, their commitment is just to provide the right tool for the job and make sure that everybody's safe and productive.
Well, thanks, Andy. Anthony, can you talk specifically about some of the core principles behind the development of the IO6 and how it's addressing those daily challenges our customers are facing, maybe specifically some of the ones that Andy just mentioned?
Yes, Sam. It all started with going out and talking to the people who use these products every day. We have a really large customer base and a channel partner network who we've been talking to and testing ideas with for the past 3 years. At first, we thought if we just developed a larger version of the ALTAIR IO4, that would be the solution that our customers need. But what we really learned from getting close to the customer through a lot of conversations, we realized that when an organization invests in a pumped multi-gas detector, they expect a different device than their wearables. For instance, I visited a plant along with some of our engineers, and when we met the safety director, he told me that he's responsible for over 200 confined spaces on site, and that during a plant turnaround, the headcount can increase by more than 2 times during that period. So that's his own staff, contractors, emergency responders. A lot of things can go wrong, and the last thing he needs is the gas detectors to be one of those problems. And from these experiences, our guiding principle with the ALTAIR IO6 was to create the right tool to help create better outcomes. A tool that's built to last for our customers in a connected world, because we know it's at stake.
We really do know what's at stake at MSA. So I think there's no better time than now to get into some of the specifics of the detector for how the IO6 is going to help address some of the challenges that more than likely a few people watching probably had today. So where should we start, Anthony? What do you think?
So Sam, we realize that a lot of our customers view wearable gas detectors more like PPE to protect the workers, but they view pumped multi-gas detectors as a sampling tool to do a very specific job. Our customers want to know that they have the right tool for the job and that it's ready for the day's work. Every decision we made with this product was around making a purpose-built tool. So for example, I had a customer tell me sometimes his jobs can last for weeks, but his detector runs for 8 hours. So he has to make a choice to either buy or rent more equipment than what he ordinarily needs, or he might have to risk downtime or even have safety or compliance gaps, which is why we chose to implement a power tool inspired battery pack. It's removable, just like your drill, your impact driver, your circular saw, the tools you have at home. The IO6 can be run for extended periods of time with these easily swappable batteries.
Anthony, I have a customer that could have used that last week. Another challenge that I've often heard is customers struggle with the small text on the LCD display, right? They can't view it very easily. Some customers have told me that they and their workers just, their eyes aren't as good as they used to be. And so it's nice to see that with the IO6, the LCD display is so large. It helps to kind of minimize if there's any glare or low lighting, that type of thing. So does that match up with what you've heard, Anthony?
Absolutely. Your customer's not allowed. Any number of reasons can make it hard to read your gas detector, which is crucial with this type of product. When you're filling out an entry permit, the gas readings matter, even if the detector isn't alarming. That's why we selected the largest display we could fit onto this device. The screen is actually 23% larger than our previous pump detector. And then another thing we heard, half of the customers we talked to said they liked dark text on a white background, and the other half said they liked white text on a dark background. So we did both. One press of a button will flip the screen, and you get to choose what's best for the job that you're doing. I got a lot of head nods of approval when we tested that. Oh, that could be handy. One of the customers in the Gulf Coast told me.
While we're on the topic of handy, how many hands does it take to operate the IO6? And will it ever be hands-free?
Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, the first thing with the IO6, it has a fully integrated pump built into the backside. That means you don't need an accessory pump that snaps on, that you have to recharge, hold with a second hand. Another thing that was really interesting, let's talk about how the workers wear the detectors. Believe it or not, the clip is a huge deal to our customers. In every interview we did, we noticed they would flip the device over and they kind of would play with the clip and test out the device. And we would hear things like, well, I need to wear it on my belt. I have to use a tool tether when I work at heights. I like to use a carabiner clip on my turnout gear, or I'm breaking clips all the time. This kind of feedback is why our engineers spent hundreds of hours iterating what ultimately became the belt hook. So whether you prefer to wear it on your body, transport it on your belt, hang it up, tether it, the IO6 solves for all of those applications.
One thing many of us in the industry have noticed is that compared to about 15 years ago, people are doing more with less. For example, a crew could be doing a confined space job in the morning and then out on inspection tasks in the afternoon. So how does the IO6 help solve that particular challenge?
Anthony, do you mind if I take this one?
Yeah, I know you have a lot of experience with this.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many customers, Sam, have told me that the detector that they use, they want to be able to have just one detector, right? So that it kind of serves for multiple applications. So the ALTAIR IO6 being able to be used as a pumped instrument and as a personal wearable really helps them. So now they can use it as a sampling tool, but they can also use it, it's small enough to wear as a personal detector. So it's that hybrid application as well. They are tired of not having the right tool or having to lose time on tools. Now they just have one device that they can use universally.
We've heard that numerous times. Hey, that reminds me, we should discuss the 6 in IO6. We've observed that the number of gases needed to be detected is growing beyond the standard 4 gases. So we have a lot of plug and play sensor options that will continue to expand over time. A wide variety of toxic and exotic gases, combustible, PID, and infrared, to name a few. So the IO6 can be that flexible tool for hundreds of field applications. And not to mention the connectivity piece for real-time data. And I know you'll get to that in a bit.
Good points. Before we dive into those connectivity options, we should really touch on reliability and serviceability. We've been talking about a lot. So Andy, can you tell us about how customers are using these devices in the field?
Yeah, so my customers are, they experience extreme environments. And regardless of the application, people are just harsh and rough on instruments, just the nature of our business. And if they don't trust the tool, they won't use it, which is why I'm happy that Anthony and the team put this to the test.
Yes, we did. That's something our engineers take a lot of pride in, designing and testing a product to survive in these extreme environments. Cold, hot, we dropped the device, we tumbled it, we sprayed it, we splashed it. All the rigorous tests that every MSA portable gas detector goes through. For years, as an organization, we take pride that we've set the standard for ruggedness and durability with portables, and the IO6 continues to build on that history. We also recognize that over time, though, a gas detector will need to be serviced. And for that reason, we've addressed it in a few areas. The pump filters, the sensors, the battery, the plastic housings, pretty much the entire device can be easily serviced to help extend the life of the detector and to keep it ready for the upcoming job.
So one thing I want to point out is around the overall setup required for a fleet of gas detectors. Something that is often overlooked is the number of different chargers and test stands required to support a fleet. And if you recently got a new phone, then you understand the frustration of returning home and realizing your old charger doesn't work with the new phone. And the same thing goes for gas detectors. And that's why the team designed the IO6 to work within the existing IO4 chargers and made the test stand a very easy addition to an existing IO4 test bank to ultimately make the integration of the IO6 as seamless as possible.
That's great. And while you're on the topic of connected fleets, I think now's a great time to dive into that in just a little bit more detail. Can you tell us more about why data matters and what it can do on a work site?
Yeah. So when we talk about connectivity, it's important to understand that hardware and software play a really important role together. And we need to continue to build bridges between the world of connected hardware to software and data. So in today's market, almost every company is leveraging data to drive safety and operation decisions. But until recently, most data from pump detectors hasn't been easily accessible in real time. And that's why the IO6 really holds a unique place by having a robust gas detector, integrated pump, and then also that automatic cellular connectivity and integration with the MSA grid too. And that's all in one handheld device.
Speaking of MSA grid, it's been part of the IO4 since its launch a few years ago. And how have customers been using the software? And can you help us, better articulate the value that it can bring to a job site?
Sure. So the ALTAIR R4 has been available for a few years now. And as Anthony and Andy had mentioned previously, it functions more as a wearable PPE and a portable gas detector. And as more customers have been implementing the IO4 into their fleets, we have certainly learned a lot. We've seen the impact of not having real-time data accessible from detectors and how that can become a problem. And there's always one example that really stands out to me. I was exchanging emails with a customer recently, and they're a contractor or subcontractor on a site where there was a gas hazard or a leak. Now, before this contractor showed up, the type of gas detectors that were being used on site, they were alarming, but they weren't showing any readings to the users. So they knew something was present, hazard was present, but they didn't understand and didn't have any context. That was leading to a lot of confusion and delays in getting the work done, a lot of starts and stops. So they're trying to understand the problem, but they didn't have proper data or insights to help them drive a decision. So our customer, the contractor, shows up on site with an ALTAIR IO4. And immediately they gathered some actual live readings that helped them make a very quick decision to shut the job site down. Some work clearly needed to be done there. That immediate data was able to be escalated up through their organization, and their leadership team thought, how powerful is this, having this type of data that helped us make a really quick, informed, safe decision. So ultimately, This kind of example demonstrates like where technology and connectivity can come in to help make business decisions that help to save lives.
That's fantastic. Helping to save lives, that's who we are, and that's what we do at MSA Safety, regardless of what product, we're really putting some innovation behind. But what do you say about the folks who need to make decisions across multiple job sites for essential confined space readings? Because we know that pump detectors and their readings dictate a lot of the work that is permitted to happen that day. So how does that influence that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And here's how we're helping to solve for that. So for a corporate safety manager or operations manager, they'll be able to view simultaneous real-time readings from the IO6 from the grid from either their PC or a mobile phone. And because safety managers want to know specifically sometimes who's using the detectors, they're able to utilize ID tags for digital device assignment to input important information about the user and easily assign devices to workers at the beginning of the shift.
Huh, interesting. Can you talk a little bit more about the accountability, say, for looking at a worker, their data, compared to their device usage and for various reports? Maybe Andy, this might be good for you.
Yeah, I can answer that. So for the last few years, a lot of our IO4 customers have really taken advantage of the MSA ID tags. And that allows them to accomplish some asset tracking, accountability, and allows them to personalize the detector. So now they're able to capture all of the data that's required, whether it's exposure data or non-gas events, but they know who had it, they know how long the exposure occurred, they have all of the information right at their fingertips. They're not looking at like a serial number, not knowing who it's assigned to. And now they can link these gas readings to specific jobs, to workers, and depending on how they assign the devices, having this information for confined space entry reporting will be huge.
Yeah, and so often I think pump detector data doesn't get uploaded for a few weeks or even sometimes months, and that causes a huge lack of visibility. Because the IO6 units will automatically upload data to the grid in real time, safety teams can have information and reports at their fingertips instantly when and if they need it. The MSA grid has a pretty tremendous amount of reporting features that allow teams to pull the exact reports they need at the correct times too.
And Ann, one feature that customers like is being able to see, their detectors and the type of maintenance activities that are needed. That could be bump tests, calibrations, sensor change out, that type of thing. And so, as we mentioned, the pump detector is an incredibly important tool. And so being able to identify maintenance issues in real time will help crews working, with the proper equipment, making sure that, it's the right tool for the job and it's ready to go.
But Anne, maybe you can tell us a little bit more. How is the IO6 sending data in real time? Is there another piece of equipment that's required to get it onto the grid?
So short answer is no. No additional equipment is required. We know from the last couple of years that people don't want to troubleshoot communication devices like modems or routers on their sites. They want their connected detectors to essentially turn on right out of the box and get to work immediately. And without connectivity, you may not be able to make as well-informed decisions, but we don't believe that's a trade-off anyone should have to make. Which is why the IO6 has that real-time connectivity out of the box so that users are able to turn the instruments on and directly share those readings into the grid without having to do anything. And that way people can make the right decisions in the right time, and there's no additional communication gateways or additional IT support that would be needed.
No additional equipment, I think, is really key when we think about managing multiple people across multiple job sites. So we talked about a lot today, a lot of features and benefits and worksite improvements. But for all of everyone that's listening today, if we could boil it down for them and give them one key takeaway. So Anne, I'd like to start with you. If people remembered nothing else about our conversation today, what's one thing that you absolutely want them to keep at the top of their mind?
So what I will say is that we understand there are varying levels of comfort in the marketplace for real-time data. The MSA Grid software has the ability to grow with your team as your data needs advance over the years. And so if you're just starting your connected gas detection journey, the IO6 and the IO4, those are great building blocks. But if you're an advanced level user with data, the Grid has a significant amount of tools to help support those data initiatives.
Sam, what I want every customer who needs a connected, pumped multi-gas detector to know is that the team at MSA has heard you. We've spent years learning about your needs and making sure that the ALTAIR io6 is the right tool for you and the jobs that you have to do. This isn't just a step forward in technology, it's also a step forward in worksite safety.
Worksite safety is what it's all about. And those are really great points. Andy, as our voice from the field and from customers all around the world, what do you want our customers to know?
Yeah, I mean, like Anthony said, at MSA, I mean, we heard you. We expand our connected platform to include now a pump detector. And I'm super excited to be able to share this with the marketplace. I think it's going to be well received, and we did a great job.
Oh, thank you. So from all of us at MSA, we know it's at stake for you today and for you tomorrow. And we are excited to bring to you the ALTAIR io6 multi-gas detector. Capable of detecting up to 6 gases, featuring out-of-the-box connectivity and an integrated pump, it's the ultimate sampling tool that joins the ALTAIR io4 to expand our suite of connected product offerings to help you and your organization enhance worker and worksite safety. For more information about the new ALTAIR io6, visit msasafety.com.